Hi students. So now I would like to discuss about two-dimensional array. So this two-dimensional array in matrix addition using C program. So for that, in the C program, first we have to start with the header file for input output functions. Start the main function and thereby we can start the execution. For that, here int row and column, and here we can see the row elements and column elements. So initiate that. Next is here you have to initiate matrix 1 with size 10 cross 10 and initiate matrix 2 also with 10 cross 10. So if you want also you can change the size of the matrix 1 and 2. Finally, you will get the same size, which is the total of these two matrices, which is a summation of these two matrices. And after that, get the number of rows and columns from the user. So for that, you have to prompt the user for the rows and columns. So you have to display printf, which is an output function. There we can see the optional message where we can place that in the double quotes, enter the number of rows for matrices. So to enter the number of rows for the matrices, so here you have to search for the rows address which is located in the memory. Okay, so for this and also for the columns. So we have to search for the columns also, and here we can see the two printfs for entering the number of rows of the matrix and also for entering the number of columns of the matrix. So thereby we can have the rows and columns for this matrix. Now first we have to input the elements for the first matrix. For that, here prompt the user to print the entire elements of the first matrix using the printf function. Okay, so and with semicolon. For that, here you have to use for loop to satisfy three conditions. This is the initialization of the row, and here is the condition testing, and here is an increment. So first here the rows must start with 0, and here that is I must start with 0 and end the I with less than row size, and thereby it gets incremented, and here you can terminate this for loop and next move on to the for loop for j. So j elements must be starts from 0 and also it must be less than column size, and then only j gets incremented, and once it's incremented exits from the for loop. And then we can see the printf function where we can see enter elements of matrix 1, which is the I element is a string and j is also a string. And for that, here you have to scan the integers, and that is for this matrix the address has been provided using ampersand. Okay, next if you continue this program here, now input elements of the second matrix. So for that, printf enter the elements of the second matrix. Okay, so now here we can also for the second matrix also we can see I rows and j columns. Got it? So now use for loop for I rows and use for loop for j rows columns. Okay, now for I is equal 0 and it has to be the rows I must be less than row, and I gets incremented and exit the loop. And again go for the for loop here, initialize j is equal 0 and test for the condition, and j gets incremented. Okay, so once if you exit this loop you will get the printf enter elements matrix 2 where we can see I and j are the integers. And for that, scanf this integers of this matrix 2 and providing address with ampersand. And after that, perform matrix addition. So for the matrix addition also, the sum of the matrix is also we are getting I rows and j columns. So again you have to create for loop for j rows and also for loop for columns. Okay. So initiate I is equal 0, test for the condition for the rows and I gets incremented. Similarly, initiate j is equal 0 and test for the condition and j gets incremented. And after that, go for the summation. Sum of I of j is equal to the matrix 1 of I of j plus matrix 2 of I of j. And after summation is completed, so print the sum of the matrices. So for that, use the output function printf sum of the two matrices. So now again here in the sum of the two matrices, again we are getting I rows and j columns. So again for I rows and j columns, you have to create the for loop for I rows and for loop for j columns. So again initiate I is equal 0 and test for the condition and I gets incremented. Similarly, j must be initiate to 0 and j test condition has to test here and j gets incremented. And finally, we can print the sum that is I of j. Okay, so that is the printf line by line. So return 0 where the execution of the program successful. So if you compile this without any errors and if you run this program, so you can get the output like this. So here on the console of Turbo, you can see enter the number of rows for matrices. So here I took only 3 rows. And again enter the number of columns for matrices. I entered here 3. So if you want to change this number of rows, you can also change even for rows and columns. So enter element of first matrix. So I randomly chosen the location matrix 0 0 location. I took 5 0 1 location. I took 4 0 2 location. I took 3 1 0 location. I took 2 and 1 1 location. I took 7 1 2 location. I choose 8 2 0 location. I choose 9 2 1 location. I choose 5 and 2 2 location I choose 3. Thereby I got the first matrix. And come to the enter elements of the second matrix. So here I got the 3 cross 3 matrix. So here I'll get the first location 0 0. I choose 5. 0 1 location I choose 6. 0 2 location in the matrix 2 I choose 7. 1 0 location of matrix 2 I choose 8. 1 1 location of matrix 2 I choose 9. And 1 2 location I choose 9. And 2 0 location I choose 3. And 2 1 location I choose 5. 2 2 location of matrix 2 I choose 6. So after entering the elements of first and second matrix, so here the sum of the two matrix automatically will display. So this is the output of the given row. Thank you.